up, what up, what up, what up? All right, folks, thank you. That's enough of that. We're not supposed to have fun. We're not allowed to have fun, right? This is serious. This is serious cryptocurrency trading, folks. No fun allowed. Everybody, how you doing? Let me know what's up. Let me know if you can hear me. What you're thinking, how you're feeling, what's going on. Thanks for hanging out here. Let's get through a few things, a little bit of housekeeping. I'm, of course, Big Cheds on Twitter. Who is texting me? Leave me alone. I'm on Big Cheds on Twitter. I am Cheds Trading on YouTube. That's what you're here for. And a founding analyst, a proud founding analyst at Bitcoin Live, the best in class educational platform for crypto. I've been doing market reports with them for 8 years. And I guess part of the reason I mention it, I was actually going to be, I was going to do a live stream here on Friday. This goes into quick market updates. Sound is good. This goes into quick market updates. And I had a stream Friday, and I just want to apologize to you guys that I actually skipped. I had to cancel the Friday stream because like the crypto market had like had a pretty big drop. It was this day here. We just had a big drop. We had this candle, and I had to do an emergency report for Bitcoin Live. What I normally do over there is every Wednesday and Sunday night, I do like a full market analysis, and I come up with like a game plan. And usually that will get us in between reports, but like Bitcoin Live is my priority. I'm dedicated to it. And so I had to cancel the YouTube stream. And Bitcoin Live is my priority. But we're back here now, and I can get caught up. And, as you know, most of what I do is free. I've published, I don't know, you may or may not know, but I've published 4 books. You can see them right here. They're all on Amazon, and I make them free on my YouTube. Trading Quotes, my cancer memoir, Trading Wisdom. So let me do a couple things. You folks want to definitely check out the playlist Trading Encyclopedia, 3-minute videos. Look at all these topics. Like if you want to learn TA, this is a great way. And if you have limited attention span like me, these are 3-minute videos to teach you. I've got hundreds of them here. Brand new ones every day. Tweets are top, inverted hammer, how to draw a fib extension, stop loss, confirmation method. What's a doji? Look at all this stuff. This is a really cool playlist. Also, I just released a long-form interview with my buddy Trader Main. And this is actually Trader Main's second interview. There's a long-form interview series. I talked to him 3 years ago, and we just did like another hour-long stream. It was really good. So check that out. And lastly, if you're looking for somewhere to trade, check out BingX, my favorite exchange. So what is going on? Let's talk Bitcoin. I want to go through some of my tweets from the last few days. Some of my altcoin tweets, maybe talk about some setups, give you folks a sense of what I think is going on with the market. Just fire away your questions. As you know, I try to read all the comments, and I'll definitely miss some. It's just me. There's no moderator. I don't have a team. It's just some dude dancing in an orange mask, talking about charts and all that good stuff. So if you did watch the interview with Maine, let me know what you think. So let's start out. What do you folks want to do? Let's go Bitcoin weekly. We'll play around with the different time frames. And then I'll walk you through some tweets. So what's going on in the weekly? I do want to say, let's start out by talking about RSI. A lot of people are talking about RSI. And I'm seeing people say that the Bitcoin weekly RSI is oversold. I just saw some guy talking about it, and I was replying to him. I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about. But look at Bitcoin's the most oversold, right? This is not oversold, right? So oversold is essentially below 30, okay? Now, there are some systems. Let's pull it up. So RSI, right? Relative Strength Index. Now, I have a video specifically. If you want to know, what is the RSI, how to use it, you're confused, you just go to RSI. Here's overbought. Here's a video specifically on, oversold and overbought. And I think I have a video, here we go, in the Trading Encyclopedia specifically on Relative Strength Index. So, you can just watch this 4-minute video to explain it to you. But now, power zone, right, above 70. I didn't plan to do this, but I'm just riffing here. Above 70 and below 30. Now, some people have a more strict filter where they use 80 and 20. Now, generally speaking, you don't want to buy something just because it's, first of all, oversold below 30. All right, so this is not oversold. This is just kind of, you can say it's cool. It's got room to run, but it's also got more room for the downside. You don't want to buy something just because it's oversold, right? Because honestly, the biggest price drops happen in this territory. If anything, you want to buy when it starts to come out of oversold, or maybe when it comes back and has something called a RSI failure swing. So if the RSI like did this, it came back and then it was unable to re-enter, oversold, like that could be a buy signal, at least just, confluence or giving you more, confidence, right? But like this is not oversold, okay? This is not oversold in the weekly RSI, okay? So it's just not the case. There's not oversold, all right? So hopefully that gives you a little more context. But let's get back to the price. The trend is broken on the high time frame. Now, we do have a weekly uptrend, right? The price versus the rising SMA 200, but we have major damage done here. We have the first close below the weekly MA 50 since 22K range roughly here. First close here. This is the last time we had the close below. And then this is the first time we had an entire candle below the lower Bollinger Band since 2018. So right here, this entire candle, it's the first time since like way, way, way back since 2018. Way, way, way back. I've been doing this a long time. It kind of feels like yesterday, but also doesn't. Yeah, since here. And there's one more leg down. But it's just notable. Like that just shows even, that we just had a big breakdown. We just had a big breakdown and we see the weakening trend. Big time weakening trend. We're losing the weekly MA 50. Just as a reminder, the weekly 50 has been incredibly important. It's this orange line, right? So, by the way, if you want to know what my moving averages are, all these squiggly lines, just go to the Trading Encyclopedia, search for moving averages. What are my moving averages? I also have moving average basics as well from Trading Wisdom. So, let's remove all the other ones. Let's go like that. Okay, so here's price versus the 50, and the 50 is a simple moving average. It means it's equally weighted. That basically means all candles have, I'll get to all the questions, folks, thank you. Not all the questions, I'll do my best. But equally weighted, like an SMA, right? So if we observe, after the price bottom, the price had a very nice bottom, we got long here at 18.5. A lot of other times to get long along the way, yada, 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 right? Breakout, move to the MA 50, breakout, move to the MA 50, breakout, move to the MA 50. And the price had held. And so you want to cut, the trend is a trend until it breaks. Advance, MA 50. Now let's look back at what happened in 2017. We had the same thing very roughly. Advance, MA 50, advance, MA 50, and then we started to lose the MA 50. And this was really one of the first warning signs of the 2021 top. And this is a lot of review. I've been covering this in my streams, okay? So basically the MA 50 is broken, and we are in big trouble, okay? We're rolling over. I think there's a lot of people who want to come out and say, like, it's okay, it's still, everything's still good, copium. We're going to 130, 160K. Here's my roadmap. We're just going to do that, right? I mean, it's exciting. People want to see that, but if you look through what has happened, not only you have the rollover over the 50, you have the failed throwback, right? You had this price structure, you had this range, broke out. So here's this range. You break out of it, you come back, you test the top of it, you fail. Now you're inside the range. So this whole range is open down to 76K, and I think we're going to 76K shortly or in the interim, right? So that's the next level I have us watching Bitcoin live, and I've been talking about is 76K, okay? Because once you enter, think about it this way. It's another concept. Price advances, let's say it does a bull. This is one version of a bull flag. You can have downsloping, you can have sideways, you can have rising. We'll just call this a bull flag or a bull rectangle. Price turns around, it breaks out. When you come back, you want to hold on the throwback, because once you re-enter the range, right, you want to hold in the top of the range. Once you re-enter the range, you can test the bottom of the range, right? You want to hold the top of the structure, because if you can, as soon as you're in the range, the whole range comes into play, and that's what we're looking at, okay? So that's kind of the weekly. That is the weekly. Let me give you guys the whole picture here, and then I'll kind of go to the chat. But I think 76K is likely. We'll see the response. I do think we have topped, and I actually think we're going to probably eventually going to go to somewhere between 35 and 45K is my bottom target. I don't know how it gets there. I can't tell you if we're going to do something like this, maybe a head and shoulders. If we're going to have a failed breakout, and recapture of 107, that would be a beautiful short signal, something like we had back here with the 46 to 48K breakout. I don't know. I can't give you the exact squiggles. I can't tell you teletype, the exact progression. But it just makes sense to me that we're going to continue lower. 76K probably won't hold. And I was just kind of looking back at, the size of retracements. I think it was like 86%. And then it was 83% and then 79% in each of these like peak to troughs. So I just did a rough napkin, back of the napkin, instead of I think like 68% or 69% would get us from the top, would get us back down to around, right, that's the fib. Get us back down to around that level. Let's go here. Yeah. So just very roughly doing just like a little bit milder drop, than the last few times. So that makes sense to me. And then we look at this structure. I had originally thought the lowest it would go in a bear market was about 40K, but I could actually see the price finding support in between these two ranges here, in between here and here. So that's why I'm kind of targeting this as a super, super nut low. We'll see. Long ways to go, and I would love to be proven wrong. But that's my high time frame picture. It's really hard because we just topped and we're rolling over. It's really hard to anticipate exactly the next couple days or even week or two. I know a lot of people are thinking about a bouncing to a lower high somewhere, and that would be logical. It's hard to know where that might be. Underside here would make sense, 107K, even underside of 99K. Now, given that's the case, and this is the speech I've been saying to Bitcoin Live, given that's the case, you want to mark out a level that would make you change your mind, right? You want to mark out a level that make you think, well, maybe it's not going lower. Maybe this is a deviation, whatever. And so like what levels would I want to see recaptured for me to want to go long? And that'll be 99K. So I take this structure here. I want to see the price back up above 98.5, 99K. Okay. All right. If that's the case, then we have a chance to get back into the upper range at 107.5. And so I'm looking at those two key important levels. You can take a long if you break 99K. You can take a long if it breaks 107, but you should manage your risk, based on each of those levels. Right. So even though I've got the weekly time frame turning over, and I'm really concerned about the progression of the weekly trend. I'm still going to be open to being wrong. You have to be all the time. I'm still going to be open to looking at levels that would allow me to shift. A true chart technician can articulate both a bull and bear thesis, and you want to know what might cause you to change gears, okay? And I'm gonna keep going lower time frame here and to kind of walk you through where I'm at. So that's where I'm looking at. Daily chart is pretty rough. We're below the 200. We just had a death cross, which normally can mark a bottom, but we're seeing further downside from the cross. We're seeing moving averages rolling over, and we're just underside EMA 8, and this is not a good position, right? This is not where you want to be. Underside EMA 8. So update available. Get out of here. Underside EMA 8, the green line, right? If you wonder why that matters, just go again, watch the video, what are my moving averages? And then I have another video specifically on EMA versus SMA. Maybe not. EMA, SMA, what am I moving? I had another one too. I swear I have another video specifically on EMA versus SMA. I'll have to find it later, but it explains the 8. It's primary downtrend resistance, right? It's exponential moving average at 8 period, and the price kind of will stick to it, especially after breaking down. It's in primary downtrend mode now. We have the nice hammer candle with volume, but it's a short-term signal. Hammers, all Japanese candlestick signals are. And it's just a bounce into EMA 8. So we're in a tough spot in the daily for sure. Weekly's in a tough spot. Daily's, below broken support. We see that overhead. And we see the price dropped right into this structure. So we're in a support range. The bottom of it's 76 though. And again, we know, and I explained earlier, when you enter a range, you can just test the bottom of it. And so that's why I'm still watching 76K on the downside, okay? So we're in a range, pushing towards, likely to test the bottom of it in a daily downtrend. Weekly trend is breaking and rolling over. And then we're looking at 4-hour action because we like to trade, okay? I mean, I like to trade. So let's go back here and let's walk through some of my tweets. So we had the hammer candle, a little bit of lower time frame action, and you're looking at the initial response. We have a high wave candle. This is a high wave candle, volatility candle. Tried to bounce, you got sent back. Set an initial range peak, broke out, came back, did a throwback, and continuing higher. Now, this is kind of a critical juncture for the price in this local range. Local meaning nearby. I also have the term local if you want to know, like all of the terms I talk about and tweet about, like what is local. I don't know. It's not finding it, but I have it in here somewhere. Local. No? Well, maybe it's just not loaded. Sorry about that sound. I know I have a video in some of these. I literally have 100. There it is. Local. I have like so many videos that it's just it's like a couple hundred videos. You can just find it, walk away after a big loss, harami cross. Every term you hear me tweeting out, I'm making videos on them. But local means nearby price action, recent price action. And so this is a really important pivot here in the 4-hour, this structure right around, 85.5. If the price is going to stair step, again, I have a video on what stair stepping is. It needs to hold here. Now, the other school of thought, though, is we're in this corrective state in the daily. Weekly trend is rolling over, and we just had a lower to upper Bollinger Band move, which is a mean reversion allowing to reset things. And then we had this nice candle up here, the gravestone doji. So I put out a tweet. Let's go back here. Here's the interview with Maine. You got to check it out. Super proud of that. Let's see. Am I on replies or a post? I'm on post. Okay. Litecoin, same price as it was 8 years ago. That's kind of funny. Here we go. So I put out the tweet so this is right here, and this is a couple nights ago. I don't want to get out of here. Twitter. Let's try it again. It's blocking the price. Sometimes this UI is really annoying. You can't even see, but it's right at 89K. No, I don't want to go directly to the next post. I don't want to go directly. Can we just thank you? Okay, so the price is advancing. We see this. So here's a lower to upper Bollinger Band move in a correction, which means you should be careful because it's in a corrective state. And then the price advances right into the, we have 4-hour gravestone doji, which is also a type of a pin bar. A pin bar is any type of, and I have a video on pin bars. You can find that. It should be somewhere near the top in terms of like the most popular videos. I don't want to waste too much time searching through the videos, but it's right there. A pin bar would be, gravestone doji. It would be a shooting star, or really any candle with a long upper shadow, kind of regardless of the rest of the body or even potentially lower wick construction. So it's a bearish pin bar. It's a short-term reversal signal, and it's a gravestone doji at the upper Bollinger Band, which is where you want to see that type of a signal. Okay. At upper Bollinger Band, underside of lost support. Okay. So it's a bounce in a downtrend corrective state into resistance, right? Support that's lost should be resistance. We understand the principle of polarity principle. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Thanksgiving week, whether you celebrate it or not. Happy just week in general. Hope everybody's chilling. Okay. And Confluence MA50. I have a video on Confluence. I have a video on MA50. So it's a bounce into resistance in a corrective state with a bearish doji at the falling MA50 at the underside of lost support. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 data points, right? I put out that tweet. And then I put out a tweet like a couple minutes later, like I'm taking some shorts here. See, this is me replying to my video with all these like videos explaining my concept, because I'm pretty academic, but like I read the textbooks and I'm trying to explain it to you. So I took a few shorts and I explained last night. This is a joke about the Honey XPT or whatever, $10 trades. The thesis is that there's a decent chance Bitcoin stalls here or close by. Why would it stall here? Well, we talked about it's in a daily downtrend, underside EMA 8. Weekly chart is rolling over. We're in the range, probably going to 76K. Many alts just bounced and have 4H short setups. So I want to go through that. because I actually took a few shorts, and I want to kind of talk about that as well. But that was the thesis. You can see my idea, and now I've kind of talked you through all that good stuff, right? So what are some of those 4-hour bounces? Let's go to, so I was looking at, let's see, I think like even like coin. Here you go. Okay, so here we are. Like, for example, Polkadot, which is just a terrible chart. You want to look to short the bounce in a down in any of these charts, like Filecoin, right? So you have like kind of a W, but you have a bounce into the peak of the W. And here you got the up thrust, boom, short setup, it's rolled over. Super easy money. This is super easy money short. This is a really bad chart that is kind of forming a double bottom. As we know, 2/3 of double bottoms, double tops fail. It's a weak chart. It's bouncing with the market. There's no relative strength here. And it's bouncing into, reasonably well-defined, level here, right? So, boom, short setup, rolled over nice and easy. ADA, a little bit more strength, but it failed to hold here at 42 cents. What else had a bounce in the 4H that I had looked at? We looked at DOT. SPX had a decent bounce, and it's right back there. And this volume is interesting. Be interesting to see if it breaks out here in the 4H. This is actually interesting. Price is at a key level here. So you could take a long if it recaptures 56, 57. This is a big spot for SPX, actually. It's kind of interesting. What's it? ICP. Yeah, it was like right here. Now, ICP's had some strength, but it was right here. It was basically right here. The price was bouncing into resistance, and a bunch of these, like Fartcoin was doing the same thing on the 4-hour. It was right here, I believe. So it's bouncing like into resistance. So we're just kind of looking at, let's see, like a bunch of they all kind of had this, right? Like bounces and downtrends and bounces to resistance, right? And so the idea is like, well, Bitcoin's probably topping off. Took a few shorts. I didn't short Bitcoin because I'm generally just shorting altcoins, and I'm looking to long Bitcoin at key levels. So I actually don't short Bitcoin a lot. It's just generally not how I like to roll because it is secular long term. But right now it's in a downtrend. It's in a corrective state right now for sure. So that's kind of going through there. Let's see what else I want to talk about on Bitcoin for now. And then pump, yeah, like pump here, bounce into the underside. I think I took a short on pump there. Yeah, I mean, it was right. It was just like that. So that was another one where I said, okay, short, bounce right into resistance. So you kind of, you scroll through the charts and you should choose whatever the most well-defined levels are, okay? All right. Let me get to the chat room. I'll see how everybody's doing here. Let me catch up. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Back to Bitcoin. So now you know why I'm short in Bitcoin. Not like I don't have a short, but I'm thinking it goes lower. I talked about why. What do you think of Caspa for a short, says Mr. Ben. Okay, I think I have it in here. Cas. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's into lower high structure. So it's a bounce in a downtrend. It's in a falling channel. We're looking at the 4-hour. I do want to jump out to the daily. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely a very good potential short setup. But I wouldn't hold the short if it can get above like 0.55 roughly. You see this peak here, all right? You see the lower high structure, very well-defined lower high structure. A bounce into lower high structure, lower lows. It's a falling channel. This is actually a pretty nice short setup, so that's a good eye. All right, thank you for the 4-hour TA, says Lay Cam. I can pay my bills and get some food for my family. Well, hopefully you're not relying on me for that. I'm just trying to teach you, and your wins and your losses are your own. But I wish you great fortune. I wish you great luck, and may you be blessed. Let's see. God bless you. God bless you too. What's up, Martwan? Nice to see you. Matesh, good to see you as well. The Chad, what's up? Hey, CBS, CB Spirit, good to see you, brother. Let's see. Joey, nice to see you. Zhao, nice to see you as well. My Bitcoin Live crew is here. Great to see you, folks. You want me to take a look at Hype? Sure. Starting to recognize some of those names from Bitcoin Live. Yeah, Hype's in a little bit of trouble. I know I covered this on, what is today? Tuesday? I covered it on Sunday. I really want to see it back up above 35. it's in this clear downward trend. It's in this clear downward channel. It's definitely rolled over, and I would be skeptical of any bounce until it can get back up above like 35 or 36, and that's just my thoughts on hype. Clearly, it's rolled over, and bears are doing damage. All right, what's up, Karth? Good to have you back live. Yeah, I try to go live. I try to go live here once a week, but Bitcoin Live is my priority, and I couldn't do the Friday stream. I had to talk to the Bitcoin Live folks. Okay, Joey says working on reclaiming 88K, exciting. Yeah. Now, if I'm wrong short term, which happens like all the time, so I'm not a wizard. I'm just trying my best. If I'm wrong short term, what is going to happen is this will hold as support here. The price will continue to stair step, and you arguably have some type of a local pivot, not at 88K, but really 89K. I probably would still be skeptical of any bounce until it gets back up above 99K, all the way up here. And that's based on daily structure. I see just a minefield of clustered resistance that any bounce will have to work through, and it's going to have a lot of trouble. So, but if I'm wrong, it holds here at 85 and it can clear 89. All right. What's up, Psalm? Good to see you, man. RKLB, is that roadblocks or something else? RKLB? Rocket Labs. Yeah, I'll look at this is not Bitcoin Live. Like, I'll look at stocks here if you guys want me to. My nose is itching the crap out of me. All right, what do we think about Rocket Labs? You mentioned I gotta stop. When how when you itch it like itches more? Sorry, I know that's super gross. I do apologize. But I feel like I'm just talking with friends too when I do these streams. So sorry about that. What's going on? Longed in the recapture of 40. Okay, that would be here. Okay, I think that's reasonable. This is called a spring, right? You folks are familiar. A lot of you folks are familiar with like Wyckoff accumulation, distribution schematics. I have videos on that for the Trading Encyclopedia coming out, but just a lot of it has to do with like a trend slowing down, and then you have like an up thrust, right? And here the opposite would you have like a spring in the accumulation. So it's kind of this idea where you have a spring where you lose a level and recapture it, and you can take a long because you define your risk. So that's good technique. Let's see, stop loss at 35. Thoughts and roadblocks. Okay, now that you've given me your trade idea, I mean, this is a very rough downward channel. And I also don't really see the volume. I might expect to see it a local bottom. Like, where's the volume? OBV divergence on daily, you said. Let's see if I can spot that. OBV divergence on daily. So, as a reminder, for divergence, especially if you're struggling, switch to line chart, okay? Because we know the line chart is based on candle close, and all oscillators, all indicators, they calculate based on the candle body close. A lot of people spend time drawing it like wick to wick. That's wrong. Either use body to body or just use a line chart. Yeah, a little bit of divergence. That's fair enough. So there's a little bit of divergence, a bullish divergence, where you have a higher low in price and lower low in the on-balance volume. Now, that would resolve with the price, bounce back up. That's how, divergence, people ask, well, how does it resolve? It resolves when the oscillator matches the trend, matches the price trend. And so that would be back in a bounce around 54 to 55. Let's go back to the candlestick. So you're actually decent. OBV, reasonable. And as long as you manage your risk based on, 36, 37, it's fine. I think it's okay. Yeah, it's an uptrend, and it's MA200 for the first time. Nice response last time. You actually had a similar sweep and recapture. Right here, last time you had this MA200 interaction. So you maybe you're onto something, man. So that's a pretty solid song. Okay. Link has been underperforming for a while. Is it best to cut or stick with it? Well, when you ask, is it best to cut? What's your thesis? Why did you get into it in the first place? At what price? I can't say cut. Depends on where you got in. I would say like, I I mean, it's not a great looking chart. It's in a pretty strong downward channel, 27 to 12. Let's go to the weekly. I mean, if you're buying here for the long term, you want to manage your risk based on like 11. I wouldn't hold below like 11, 11.50. It's clearly at the bottom of some type of a range. You could argue at the bottom of a local range, and that's reasonable. And here's your big support resistance flip, right? But this is not a good chart. I mean, this is just sideways. Any chart, like, why would you accumulate this? There's just no trend, right? Accumulate Bitcoin, accumulate an uptrend. Like, what's the point of accumulating this? So I'm very underwhelmed on Link, and you probably should have cut here around 2021. Failed throwback maybe here. You know, it's pushing into higher lows. If that starts to invalidate, there's no reason you don't go down to here. So, you know, not a fan of the chart, to be honest. You know, you don't want to, like you said, accumulate. Like, why? Like, why not respect your money? Why not just let the market, like, is it because you think it's like a good project and you're a Marine? Or, I mean, I'm not trying to hate on Link, but like I don't understand accumulating a chart like this. It's just, you could just be holding sideways for a year, and then who knows what it does. Like, and then you're watching it every day, and it's like a mental toll. You're not just spending money for fees or paying funding. Like, it's mental toll every day. Like, find an uptrend that dipped and take a long. Find a downtrend that bounced and take a short, and then just manage your risk, right? Don't get into this like sideways jazz. What should I do? When you're asking some guy in a mask what to do. Like, set yourself up for success, right? Marco says, thanks for your updates. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Marco says, if you sit in dry powder, would you wait now? Does it look dangerous? It's always dangerous. Marco, for Bitcoin, I talked about what I would want to see for a recapture to take more long exposure, 99K. I did also talk about a more aggressive local pivot, which I'm not personally going to trade, but I think is defensible on a recapture here of 89K locally, just given the price response. But I'm surprised I didn't see people drawing that line. Starting to break all the diagonal bros. Let's see. Cheds, do you see around 100K as new resistance? I talked about that, Matej. What's up, Wingbo? Chocolate, nice to see you as well. Influence, good to see you, brother. Hey, Cheds, still a higher low so far. It's like in Simpsons where Homer says, you know, it's like, you know, it's your worst day of your life so far. Yeah, still higher low so far, but I mean, yes, but we've lost these other higher lows. So higher low, but now, yeah, we're in a falling channel. So, what's going on with my PC? That sound, yeah, sorry about that. That wasn't your PC. The main interview was good. Thank you. Bro said all the things are all of us thinking. Yeah, Main's a good dude. He's been around, actually, Trader Main. And by the way, I'm referring to Trader Main because I just did an interview with him. It's on my Twitter page, my X page, if you like. It's there, and here's the link to it. It's my last long form interview. I've got more interviews cooking. Let's see. Howard says, is that an inverted head and shoulders and Astra? Astra more of a rounded bottom type of look. I think I have it in this other playlist. Let's go back. I mean, there it is. Yeah, it's kind of more of a rounded bottom. Not a head and shoulders, just a rounded bottom that broke out and failed to hold. So that's a bad sign. And actually, I took a short on the break here. So you had this structure, and I have a video on like what's a rounded bottom. Of course, in the trading, I have a video on everything in Trading Encyclopedia, what's a rounding bottom. So with a rounding bottom, it's generally like this, but the thing is you can be doing like this. You can have whatever within the rounding bottom. It's not like the price doesn't always follow this. It's just a general structure of trough and peak. When you break out, you really want to hold. And so there was a nice trade on the breakout that failed, and now we're back below it. I'm bearish in this chart. You should be too. So let's see. What is Thanksgiving? Good call. It's like Boxing Day, David. I see David from UK. You guys have Boxing Day. Or is that Canadian? Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting my holidays and my countries mixed up. Let's go to Sui. Looked like a good short yesterday. What do you think? Let's add it to this list. These are lists of stuff that I might be shorting over here at the right. This playlist here. Let's see. Playlist, trade, a watch list. So Sui, you said looked like a good short yesterday. Yeah, I mean, this is a terrible chart, right? So when bad charts bounce, you want to pay attention. Let's go to the 4-hour. Yeah. Oh, tower top type of look. Advance, small bodies, multiple stars, or spinning tops. So it looked like a good short yesterday. What did you short? I didn't short this. I didn't have him on a radar. This is okay, but this has more strength. So actually, maybe wouldn't have been shorting this. Big accumulation bar. And the other stuff I was shorting was like around here, like a bounce into the local peak. This one broke out. I'm sure you've got this structure, maybe up there. So maybe you use this level. If I wanted to short this, I would need to see it bounce back up to around 150. Can't wait to buy hype at less than 10. We'll see. Could be there. LTC is at the same price, but down roughly 50% in real terms due to inflation and debasement. Yeah, that's the thing. So like when the last member, the last like caller or viewer was like, yeah, I want to accumulate Link. Like people have been accumulating Litecoin sideways for 8 years. So like, don't do that to yourself. Accumulate uptrends. Okay. Thank you, Cheds. Can you chart Ethereum? Yeah, let's take a look at Ethereum. So I'm a little more bearish on Ethereum than some of my homies out there. I think this needs to get back up above. Let me take a fresh look at this actually in the daily. Clean this up. So I'll start with on the downside. I'm waiting for around 2300, 2350. Right? I think it's a very good chance that it gets to here in the short. It's a very strong chance. It's here at some point in the next couple of weeks. And then it'll be interesting. It's got to flip back up or above. You could call it 3K. You call it 2900, 3K range. I'd like to see that range recaptured. And then maybe that would be interesting. But for me to really have any kind of real confidence, this is more like the 99K level for Bitcoin. This is going to back up above really 3350. This is a strong downward channel. EMA pinned down by the EMA 8. Let's go to the 4-hour and take a look. Okay, you've got your local pivot here. Decent response right there. Advance in the upper Bollinger Band, tweezer top on light volume. And a throwback or retest to 2850. So you want to see 2850 hold. It's hard to really handicap this lower time frame price movement here in the next couple days, but I think there's still a pretty good chance this makes its way back down to 2350, and that's just my view on Ethereum. All right, how's everybody doing? Let's see, Monero. There's a lot of questions here. Believe in yourself chart. Yeah, Jimbo. Very inspiring main interview. It really was. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. There's so many great questions. I'm sorry, and I'll miss some of these. I really apologize. Don't remind me about DOT. That's funny. I find shorting alts is easier than longing them since there are so many terrible charts out there compared to decent charts. That's a great point, major protagonist. That's a really, really good point. I agree. And I have muscle memory in so many of these alts that when they bounce, I just know there's a good chance they're going to roll over. So I just keep watching them. Can you do Sol? I did ETH. I'll do Sol. Yeah, Sol's going lower. Sol is going lower, although area of interest around 120. So, I mean, 120 holds, some hope for bulls, but it kind of has that HNS top look that will complete on a loss of 120. It's in a sideways range after a prolonged uptrend, but it's really rolling over lower high and strong bear momentum, local bear momentum. And look at this distribution too. So yeah, I mean, I really like to see it above 175K to have any kind of confidence in it, but I just think this is going lower. HNS top preparing to break down. That's kind of my base case. Talked about Sol, talked about Ethereum. You don't think it's likely, at least tags the lower Bollinger in the weekly at 93K. Says Joey. Interesting. Okay, let's take a look, Joey. I mean, is it likely? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, now it's the lower Bollinger is going to be around 91K, not 93K. Yeah, I mean, it's very reasonable to think, even if it's weekly, it's going to roll over and tag, falling EMA 8 and kind of doing what we're doing here in the daily with this underside EMA 8. So that's fine, but I'm looking for levels, right? I'm a trader, and so I'm using 4-hour and daily structure to kind of define those levels for me, right? Is it harder to be long or short term? Yeah, I'm not sure, brother. I mean, if you're wrong, just don't stay that way, right? Okay, thanks, Cheds. You're the man. You're welcome, Psalm. Let's see. Hey, buddy, been watching you for years now. Thank you, Dark Slayer. Thank you for all you do. Can you look at gold? Yeah. Thank you, brother. It's funny. I've been on YouTube now for many, many years. Even though I'm really just a Twitter guy, I still have slowly grinded up this little YouTube channel. And I'm now honestly incredibly proud. I'm proud of the fact that my books are free. I mean, look at that. I published 4 books and they're free in my YouTube. This playlist I'm super proud of. I really hope you guys are checking it out. It's just, this is timeless. I hope you guys enjoy that. But anyway, the question was about gold. I got thrown off track there. Maybe I'm getting tired. Need some more coffee. What do we think about gold? Okay. It still looks bullish to me. Maybe I'm dented, as my favorite streamer, Beastie Cutie likes to say. AOE4 streamer. Is it bullish? This looks like a bullish equilibrium to me. All right. If you want to know what an equilibrium, an EQ, go to the Trading Encyclopedia. There it is. Equilibrium tightening range. Just go watch the video. 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 24 seconds. There's already like 20 topics I've thrown at you. This looks like a bullish tightening range on the daily chart. I'd rather be a bull than a bear. That being said, my thesis is checked if the bulls are unable to hold above 4K. All right. Can I do Zcash? Yeah, Zcash is breaking down. Looking like a fail. That's Dash. Zcash is breaking like a failed ascending triangle continuation. Okay. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we started out, we set our peak, we set our low, we set another peak, and then we started to form the ascending triangle, which is what you would expect in a trend of this strength. MA20 hold, MA20 hold. Now we're getting MA20 violation, loss of the rising demand trend, loss of this higher low, over 570. It's going back to around 440, 450, probably breaks down. So this is probably going to like 290, 300 is my best guess, back of the napkin. This looks to be headed lower. Unfortunately, failed bullish continuation. Trader Main is the best follow in CT by far. Okay. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's been around for a long time. I've done several videos with him. Very inspiring. Great. Let's see. All right. So many questions. All right, folks. So this has been fun. I did my last stream a while ago, and I try to stay up to date with you folks here at least once a week. I try to make everything I do free. I mean, of course, Bitcoin Live is if you want more, and I'm really proud of that. But like I'm on Twitter all the time. I make my books free. I make my videos free. But like if there's something crazy happening, like Bitcoin Live is my priority. So I'm going to have to take care of them. They're the most important thing to me. So I had to skip last Friday. I do apologize. So I'm glad I could come in today and kind of talk you through my big picture view on the weekly chart, breaking down, losing the 50, multiple closes below the 50, price acceptance, price acceptance back into the range, immediate range low test, logical kind of end of cycle target, kind of walk you through all that, daily structure vis-a-vis, price versus EMA 8, and then kind of these 4-hour machinations, the advance into the upper Bollinger Band, and this short setup that I gave you guys, or at least kind of talked about the reason for caution on the Gravestone Doji, at the upper Bollinger Band, at the falling MA50. So we talked about a lot of stuff. So you hopefully should have a pretty good sense of where I'm at. I talked about what I would want to see for the price to show strength for me to start to be bullish again. So you should have enough to chew on. If I missed your question, if I didn't address it, let's see, Daryl says, so many scammers, nice to have someone legit. Thank you, Daryl. Bro, like when I started, people helped me out, and I've never forgotten that. So I don't know if you know my, if you look at my profile, my tagline, if you go to my profile and look at my profile image, it's helping new traders avoid my old mistakes. It's what it's all about. So yeah, I gave you guys a lot to chew on. You know where I'm coming from. Hopefully you feel a little more informed, whether you agree with me or you disagree. I've been able to share my thoughts, and I try to get to most of your comments. If I missed you, I'll try to get you next time. Just reply to the video, and I'll do my best. But folks, thanks a lot. Let's do some dancing, Church of Eight Wheels, and we'll roll it out from there. So folks, thank you so much. Let's do this.